Welcome to Heartline, Between Us Connected Souls. Have you ever stopped to wonder how the magic in a long-term love story begins to fade? It's rarely a loud, dramatic event. More often, it's a slow, quiet turning away, so subtle we barely notice it's happening. One day you look across the dinner table at the person you've built a life with, and you realize that a kind of invisible distance has crept in, filling the space where that easy electric connection used to live. This is a space for us to explore that quiet drift, to talk about how we can sometimes stop truly seeing the people we love most, and just as importantly, how we can stop seeing ourselves. This isn't a lecture, but a shared discovery, an exploration into the art of bringing our relationships and our own hearts back into focus. Before we can learn to see again, we have to understand what makes us go blind in the first place. The answer, so often, is familiarity. That warm, comfortable feeling of knowing someone inside and out is one of the great comforts of a long-term partnership. But if we're not careful, that comfort can become a blindfold, and it's here, in this cozy space, that the quiet fading often begins. It starts with what we might call the killer assumption, the subconscious belief that we know everything there is to know about our partner. We've heard all the stories, we've seen all the sides, and we start to believe there's nothing new going on in that head of theirs. This assumption is a slow poison to intimacy because it lets our ego get lazy. It slowly erodes our curiosity, replacing deep, open-ended questions with logistical ones. The conversation shifts from, "What are you dreaming about lately?" to, "Did you pick up the dry cleaning?" The devastating consequence is that when curiosity dies, the relationship stagnates. We stop treating our partner like the evolving, fascinating human they are because we've stopped looking for what's interesting. The person you married isn't literally the same person 5 years later, but we forget to keep checking in, to keep exploring. This is where we're faced with a profound choice. There's a beautiful thought from the writer Proust that captures this perfectly. The journey of discovery lies not in seeking new landscapes, but in seeing with new eyes. When a relationship feels stale, the temptation can be to seek a new landscape, a rush of external excitement, or even tragically, an affair. But the real potential for newness, for rediscovering that magic, is right there at home. It's found in the courageous act of learning to see the person right in front of you with new eyes. It's a quiet tragedy to assume you know all there is to know, but there's a deeper, more subtle way our familiarity can betray us when we stop seeing the goodness that's been there all along. It's one thing to stop asking questions. It's another, quieter heartbreak to stop seeing the magic that was there all along, to take for granted the very qualities that once felt like a miracle. The most important thing to understand here is that this isn't a personal failing. It's a universal human tendency, a psychological pattern called hedonic adaptation. Our brains are wired to get used to things, good or bad, to help us cope and survive. But in our relationships, this superpower can backfire, and we must consciously fight against it to preserve the feeling of love. Our minds are amazing at normalizing new things. It's why a pay raise feels thrilling at first and then just becomes your new salary. But this same mechanism can cause us to take for granted the most extraordinary parts of our partners. Think of it like getting upgraded to a fancy seat on an airplane for the first time. It feels like winning the lottery. You're playing with all the buttons, admiring the little lotions and the fancy toothbrush. You're so excited you can't even sleep. But if you were to fly like that every single week, it would just become a seat. Soon, you'd stop appreciating the luxury and start finding new complaints. The Wi-Fi is slow, the flight attendant wasn't cheerful enough. The extraordinary has become your new normal. This is precisely what can happen in our partnerships. A partner's extraordinary qualities, their rock-solid consistency, their unique way of listening, their generosity of spirit, can stop feeling extraordinary. They just become Tuesday. You lose the comparison point, forgetting what life is like outside the bubble of your relationship. This often leads to a painful, rude awakening after a breakup. Suddenly, out in the world again, a person is shocked to realize that the kindness or emotional intelligence their ex possessed wasn't normal at all. It was incredibly rare and wonderful. External contrast forces the appreciation that internal familiarity had slowly eroded. So, how do we fight this? We can't rely on breakups to reset our perspective. The answer lies in a gentle, actionable practice of micro-appreciation. This isn't a chore. It's a loving act of rebellion against our brain's tendency to normalize the good. It's about consciously noticing and maybe even articulating the specific things that make your partner wonderful. It's the difference between a generic "I love you" and a heartfelt "I really appreciated how you handled that call with the difficult client today," or "Thank you for being so calm when I was freaking out about that deadline." It can be as simple as, "I was watching you with the kids tonight, and I had this moment of seeing your incredible patience. It's not new, but I realized again how much I rely on that steady part of you." You're actively interrupting that normalization loop, feeding your brain constant little data points that say, "This is special, this is not normal, this is wonderful." And as we learn to see our partners more clearly, we must also remember that a relationship's vitality depends just as much on our own inner world. But seeing them clearly is only half the journey. The real question, the one that changes everything, is what happens when you turn that gaze inward. When you turn that gaze inward, what new landscapes are waiting to be discovered there? The true engine of relational vitality is personal growth. We often think about how to keep a relationship fresh, but the strategic truth is that staying fresh for a partner begins with the courageous act of staying fresh for yourself. Without this, we risk becoming stagnant, and we can't expect our partner to remain fascinated by us if we are no longer fascinated by life. When we stop growing, we bring a stagnant version of ourselves to the table. We're essentially asking our partner to be endlessly fascinated by a museum piece, something that might be beautiful, but is ultimately unchanging and lifeless. If you stop doing things that keep life interesting for you, you genuinely won't have anything new to bring to the conversation at dinner. No fresh ideas, no new insights. The core insight here is profound in its simplicity. You have to make life fresh to you so that you can stay fresh for your partner. This isn't about performing for them or becoming someone you're not. It's an act of self-love and personal responsibility. It's about tending to your own inner fire so that its warmth can naturally extend to your relationship. This doesn't require massive, life-altering transformations. It can be found in small, accessible acts of curiosity. Read a challenging book. Listen to a new podcast that makes you think differently. Pick up a small hobby. Anything that invites new thoughts, new energy, and new perspectives into your own life will naturally flow into your connection, keeping it alive and evolving. When you are engaged with your own growth, you become more self-aware. And it is this self-awareness that allows you to finally understand what your everyday conflicts are truly about. One of the most important strategies for a healthy connection is learning to look beneath the surface of our arguments. So often, the thing we are fighting about is not the real issue. The surface-level conflict is just a symbol for a deeper, unspoken emotional need that isn't being met. There's a story that illustrates this perfectly. It's about a recurring conflict over something as mundane as cardboard boxes. One partner had a habit of stacking empty boxes by the door, and it drove the other person crazy. Every time a new pyramid of cardboard appeared, a familiar fight would erupt. It was a cycle of nagging, frustration, and defensive standoffs. On the surface, it was a minor annoyance, a simple disagreement about messiness. But it was never really about the boxes. The breakthrough came when the conversation finally shifted from the practical problem to the underlying emotional truth. After one more argument, the partner who was constantly cleaning them up finally said, with a quiet vulnerability, "When I constantly have to clean them up your stuff, it makes me feel less like your partner and more like your maid. I feel unseen." In that moment, everything changed. The issue wasn't about laziness or clutter. It was about a deep need to feel valued, to be seen as an equal partner, and to feel that the burdens of life were being shared. Expressing that deeper need for partnership and respect created a moment of true connection. It motivated a change in behavior far more effectively than years of nagging ever could, because it spoke to the heart of the relationship, not just the mess by the door. At the end of the day, love isn't something we find and then simply possess. It is a living, breathing thing that requires our gentle, consistent attention. It asks us to show up, not just in the big moments, but in the small, quiet ones that make up a life. The most profound act of love, perhaps, is the ongoing willingness to keep seeing, to be willing to see your partner with fresh eyes each day, setting aside the assumptions of yesterday, to be willing to see yourself with compassion and to take responsibility for your own growth and vitality, and to be willing to look beneath the noise of daily life to see the real heart of your connection. Remember, connection doesn't heal overnight. It grows in small, honest moments of seeing. Keep showing up, keep listening, keep loving without losing yourself. We'll talk again soon, right here, where connected souls meet.